Welcome to the 3 Knockdown Rule. Starring Mario Lopez and Steve Kim. Presented by Hustler Casino.
Hey guys, don't forget to like and subscribe to our show on YouTube. It's fun, it's funny. I break this guy's balls. His wig looks crazy every week, but it's still worth doing it. Check out these badass shows. Check it out.
Even though Mario's on it, you'll still learn something, and it's still some insightful analysis. And then I bring the funny, and I don't know what he brings.
No.
What are you talking about? I'm the star of the show here.
You bring the grumpy.
Oh, but the grumpy. Anyway,
I'll bring
like
the star
and
of the
subscribe.
Yes,
3
please.
Knockdown
We
Rule.
appreciate you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 3 Knockdown Rule is back in effect, brought to you by Hustler Casino. I'm Steve Kim, joined by my co-host, Mario Night Lopez. I knew I should have answered that call.
More on that later. So funny. I'm still laughing thinking about it. Good to be back. Good to be back after a brief hiatus. Shout out to Smoking Tim Frazier.
And the bout sheet for this program, we have fight review, news and notes, Ask Mario, and then final flurries.
Hey guys, Mario Lopez here on the 3 Knockdown Rule, and this show is also brought to you by LifeRx.md. Summer's coming. Time to get your body right. If you're trying to lose weight, look and feel your best. And who isn't? Our partners are here at LifeRx.md, and they will connect you with a licensed telehealth provider in your area that'll create a custom treatment plan that is best for you. So use code 3K.
Round 1.
All right, let's get started. We move back the clock a couple of weeks. May 10th at the Pachanga, not casino, but the arena in San Diego, brought to you by Top Rank on ESPN. And still, the WBO junior lightweight champion of the world, El Vaquero Emmanuel Navarrete, with a technical decision in 8 over Charlie Suarez. Mario, we had some controversy.
Yeah, we did, and it shouldn't have been there. I got to say, and I love me some Navarrete, but... and he's the kind of guy, and we've said this a lot, where he's awkward to his benefit. His style behooves him, even though it doesn't look fundamentally sound. It seems to have worked for him. But on this night, that was a punch that caused that cut. And I am very surprised, and a little disappointed that it was not overturned. And it changed everything. And I don't know necessarily if you can blame Navarrete, but I think he just essentially got away with one. But Suarez should not be penalized. He's up and down at times, Navarrete, with his output. Lately he's been the sort of fighter that sort of rises to the level of his opponent. But Suarez was tough, fought well, and again, to me it looked like a punch. Your thoughts?
The replays showed what they showed. The problem was it was not an instant replay, as I called it. It was a distant replay. ESPN had basically gone off the air. I spoke to Tim Bradley, who we're going to speak to pretty soon here on 3KR. He said his biggest regret was, Steve, I knew instinctively as a fighter that was a cut because I wish I would have stuck to my guns.
It's hard in the heat of the moment, both with the ref, the broadcasting crew. It is really hard, and if you don't have the benefit of the doubt of being at TV and seeing those instant replays, it's easy to play armchair quarterback. But yeah, once it's all said and done, the reality is it very much did look like a punch.
Here's the facts, the scorecards, and really the 8th round, they scored it after 10 seconds. All 3 judges had it 10-10, so it's like they didn't score it. But the official scorecards read 76-76 twice in favor of Navarrete and 78-75. So this is the facts, if this is the court of law. Number 1, the fight was close, but Navarrete was winning. Number 2, Charlie Suarez had a very good 7th after the 6th caused the cut. So a lot of speculation on what would have happened. That doesn't matter. Here's what I do know. The ringside physician decided that the cut was too dangerous for the fight to go on. So when people say, well, the doctor didn't know if it was from a cut or a punch, that doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
It's a safety issue, right? If the cut is bad, if you're going to stop the fight, and if it's from a punch, that should be
awarded to Suarez.
A TKO.
It should, exactly. Much like we were talking about Tank, and this comparing apples to oranges, but in the same sense, when he voluntarily took that knee, that's still a knee. And had you counted that as a knockdown, oh my gosh, his name
Lamont
is
Roach.
Lamont Roach
wins the fight.
Wins the fight. So these things are not so little. They may seem little in a close fight, but they're not, and they make all the difference in the world.
And we have to be honest about this as we gauge human nature. And again, this is a little bit of speculation. I know that if I'm a fighter and the referee says that's a punch, when that ringside doctor comes to check at me, I'm giving the body language, hey, don't stop this. Do not stop this. I'm ready to go. I can see. I got 20/20 vision. Don't worry about it. But we've seen other times when a corner says, we might be up here, huh? Okay, a little easy on that end swell. Here's the reality for Suarez. I believe Top Rank is going to do the right thing and give him a rematch. But given the fact that the champion is still Navarrete, and he's the guy that on paper won the fight, he is still at a bargaining disadvantage. So in a way, he is penalized. And also, I know this to be true. The Manuel Navarrete he faced on that night, May 10th, there's no guarantee he's going to get the exact same version because you never face the exact same fighter twice.
You're exactly right. And just like you said, it was a close fight, and he was putting those rounds together, and maybe he will be a little bit more cautious and able to make adjustments and not put himself in that particular position. So we'll see. I'm glad at least it looks like they will have the rematch, and he will get one other shot.
Right. Also on that card for the IBF interim lightweight title of the world, and it looks like it could be a full-blown version if Vasyl Lomachenko remains retired, as I believe he will be. But he knocks out a 12-round decision over Zaur Abdullaev by the scores of 119-109 twice, 118-110. I'm just going to say this. It was lopsided. He won easy. But, man, Muratalla is frustrating. He is that sports car that drives right in the middle of the lane in the highway at 55. He never shifts gears. He never turns. He never goes any faster. He never speeds up. It's just 55. He gets there, but you wish it was just a little bit faster.
You get stuck in that sort of bubble of potential and frustration.
He leaves you wanting more.
Right.
Also, this past weekend from the SEC Hydro in Glasgow, Scotland on DAZN, welterweight upset, Iko Essuman with a 12-round decision over Josh Taylor. Mario, is the Tartan Tornado now just a intermittent wind?
At one point, I actually thought that he would have, and this was a couple years ago now, I believe we talked about it in the show, that he would be a competitive bout against Terrence Crawford should he move up. Remember?
You thought about 60-40-ish.
I thought about with Crawford,
in favor of Crawford.
In favor of Crawford, but I thought it'd be a competitive fight. He looked so sharp. He looked just firing on all cylinders, big for that weight class. And I don't know if just Father Time has caught up with him. I don't know how hard he lives outside of the ring.
There have been rumors, a lot of pints.
Right.
Enjoys a pint.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if it's killed him for so long to make that weight when he was killing himself for junior welter for a long time. But what I do know for a fact, I don't know those other things. Again, those are rumors. But what I do know is when you take, I don't care even if it's an elite fighter, because he is an elite fighter, and you take him out of action for a year, he's not going to be the same when he comes back, especially as he gets older.
So activity matters.
Absolutely matters. And I think it matters, especially when you're fighting at a high level and guys like Essuman. And look, he started off well, and he looked pretty sharp, and I thought he was putting away rounds early, but then just Essuman was persistent and consistent with his attack and ended up sort of evening the score, and I think taking it on a little bit late. Was it close? I thought, yes, it was close, but I think the right guy had his hand raised. And again, it could be a combination of all the things I just said, but it does not look like the same fighter from yesteryear. And that fighter from yesteryear was, at one point, at least in my mind, on the pound-for-pound list.
Yeah, anytime you take any modern-day fighter, doesn't matter who it is, unless it's Bernard Hopkins, who had the discipline of a monk. When you fight only once a year, two things happen. You probably put on at least 25 to 30 pounds, and then that training camp, at least the first half of it, it becomes a fat camp. And now he's 34, so your metabolism changes. There's no doubt in my mind that the blade got dull. If you take away that Jack Catterall win in 2022, you can make an argument he has not won a fight in his last 4 since he beat Jose Ramirez in 2021. I saw a guy, this is the most alarming thing, Mario. Not only could he not get off, but in the late stages, now Essuman is a rugged, sturdy guy, doesn't have a lot of speed. But I noticed that when right hands were coming down the rail,
Couldn't get out of the way.
Taylor could see him, couldn't do anything about it.
Yeah. I noticed the same thing, and it was a big difference even from when he fought Teofimo Lopez, where he still looked pretty sharp.
Yeah.
To me, that was just a very on-point Teofimo that night. But yeah, and again, it couldn't be just maybe one thing, maybe a combination of all the things we discussed.
Mario, heavyweights in action. I believe this might be, for the time being, the best young heavyweight in the sport. I know there's not a lot out there, but at age 20 and only 12 fights in, Moses Itwama blows out Mike Balogun in 2. Is he ready to part the heavyweight seas just yet?
Well, he's exciting, and he makes me want to watch him every time. But like you said, he's only 20. He hasn't really even gotten into his man strength, and he's only got 12 fights under his belt. So I don't think we throw him in the deep waters just yet. I think keep him busy, keep him active, and maybe another year we start to see him against a step up in competition, because we got to be careful and precious with our heavyweights here, and he could be a star.
They're as rare as a Fabergé egg. Keep this in
Exactly.
mind. He's only 6'2". By today's standards, that's kind of short, but he is now tipping in around 245, 250. But
It's a linebacker, 6'2", 245.
Right, but these guys are power forwards. The other
Right.
thing is, but his speed and dexterity and
Right.
power in both hands, the fact that he could throw a right hook backing up, running a guy into a punch. What I find interesting, he is not yet in the Ring Magazine top 10, and there's a couple of guys like Efe Ajagba, Fabio Wardley, maybe even Zhang Zhilei or Filip Hrgovic. I'll be honest, I would actually favor young Moses over him. Here's the thing, though. The WBO has him number 1.
Wow.
But that's not mandatory. That's a little bit different.
Yeah.
And people say, is he active? Is he seasoned enough? Keep this in mind, how much the game has changed. Mario, he's 12-0. So people like me are anointing him. In terms of activity and if he's ready, do you know the year that Mike Tyson won the title? So that's like his 3rd year in the pros in 1986. In a year that he won the title against Trevor Berbick, that was his 13th fight in 1 year.
Yeah, exactly.
The game has changed.
Exactly. 13 fights in 1 year. Well, he was knocking fools out like in the first, second round, too.
Right, so we'll see, but I do believe with a guy like Frank Warren, veteran boxing man, they're not going to rush this.
No,
He's much
nor should
too
they.
valuable. All right, we'll be back on the 3 Knockdown Rule. We come back with more boxing talk, but now it's Mystic Zach with the pick of the week.
Get ready for Zach's pick of the week here on the 3 Knockdown Rule podcast.
What's up, guys? Mystic Zach here, making my return to the 3 Knockdown Rule to bring you the best picks. 10-1 start so far since I started making predictions for the 3 Knockdown Rule podcast. And this weekend, we got a double header. We got Jamal Charlo versus Thomas Cornflake Lamont in the co-main event. And then in the main event, we got Caleb Plant versus Armando Resendez. My pick here lies in the co-main event. Jamal Charlo taking on Thomas Cornflake Lamana. There's some value I like here. At plus 145, you can get Jamal Charlo to stop Thomas Lamana. The reason why I like that, Thomas Lamana, most known for his step up against Arzlani Lara. He got stopped in the first round. Styles make fights. Boxing match doesn't always make sense. But I think there's too much of a talent disparity here for Jamal Charlo not to finish Thomas Lamana in his return to the ring. I think this inevitably sets up the Caleb Plant-Jamal Charlo matchup for later this year, which is going to be a blockbuster event. And that's my pick of the week for the 3 Knockdown Rule podcast.
And we're back on the 3 Knockdown Rule, brought to you by Hustler Casino. Ladies and gentlemen, are you looking to get involved with 3 Knockdown Rule and sponsor our show? We have some spots available. Please email us at info@boxbid.io. Once again, that's info@boxbid.io. Boxbid is an online platform that helps professional boxers connect with their fans by providing exclusive Fight Week merchandise, memorabilia, and sponsorships. You can even buy a shout-out on boxbid.io. Boxbid handles our sponsorships, and we are proudly working with boxbid.io.
News and notes.
All right, news and notes. Mario, the summertime schedule is getting filled in here. Now, we talked about July 12th, the Ring Magazine 3 card with Hamza Shiraz, Edgar Berlanga, and then Stevenson taking on William Zepeda. Mario, they thought better of it. They said, Central Park, you know what? Let's go a little bit more traditional but new. They're going to the Louis Armstrong Stadium, which is the host of the U.S. Open. And as for the rain, best thing, retractable roof. I like this.
I like it a lot. I don't think we'll see. It's not usually raining during that time of year. I like the venue. I like the card. I like everything about this. I was going to discuss with you. Maybe we plan a trip.
Yeah.
But we'll see. We'll see. That one's going to definitely be, obviously, I think, logistically, it's easier to pull off than Times Square. But that's a fun card, man.
And Mario, we can speak to firsthand experience from watching many fight cards at a tennis stadium. Carson, the War Grounds. Remember when they used to host fights? I'm old enough to remember that, by the way.
Dang.
The way they are built, and the fact that there's no luxury boxes, and the fact it's a relatively small
Every
floor.
seat is great.
Every seat is great. And I hopefully one day before I retire from this fine racket, that the
Where you
StubHub home. Well, I'd like to see some fights at Carson. I missed that place.
I agree.
Anyway.
Also, you're old enough to remember the first fight.
Oh, you're right. That was way back by about 20 years ago. Also, Mario, we have a date for the Tank Davis-Lamont Roach rematch in Las Vegas, August 16th.
Dead of summer. It's going to be hot. It's going to be hot outside. It's going to be hot in the ring. Will Tank make the adjustments needed? Does Roach just have his number? Is it a Vernon Forrest, Shane Mosley kind of thing? I don't know, but Roach looked really impressive to me. You know, that confidence is going to be at an all-time high. Should he be able to pull that off? Let me ask you something. If for some reason he doesn't, let's assume it is a close decision that goes Tank's way. Then people would say, well, Roach really won the first one. Does it deem
That's a great, because remember, the decision was a draw.
I know.
So they're 0-1-1. It's not like they're 1-1. They're 0-1-1. And there's
most people, I think, feel that Roach
And
got
we have to be honest. Even though Barclays Center was a heavily pro-Tank crowd, regardless of where this fight is, short of being in Washington, D.C., where Lamont Roach is from, he's always going to be the B-side. I believe Lamont has to start off a little bit faster and be a little bit more aggressive early on. But the question is, Mario,
That's dangerous.
Does that then run him into things he does not see?
It does. That's dangerous. That's dangerous. I think he fought a pretty smart fight. I would like him to be a little bit more active early on, but I don't think you change much. I think it was working for him.
And I'm with you. He's one of those guys who's always going to give Tank problems. I mean, Vernon Forrest could have fought Shane Mosley 100 times. I don't think Shane Mosley ever would have had an easy go of it against the Viper.
Catch the streaming live right on YouTube.
Welcome to the big leagues, kid.
$1.2 million.
And I'm losing in this fucking game. What the fuck?
This is a 400K flip. If I win by the way, you get 10 grand.
Fucking straddle!
For my fans!
Why? I read it twice!
Wow. All in a call.
I'm not fucking leaving!
Raise it up.
All right, moving on to the Ask Mario segment of the program. Here's one from MC. Hey, guys, what's going on with you and Mario's cousin, the Korexican, Brandon Lee? I know he's coming back, but how do you see his career going after this fight? I feel like his career has been moving slowly in terms of competition. Okay, my nephew, he actually graduated college, finished up his education, took some time off. The sense that I get is, and this is about 3 years ago, I think he got buzzed by Juan Heraldez, I believe is his name, and he got shook up, he got hurt. I'm not saying he got Rosario'd, but that first time you really get hurt as a young fighter, you can go either way. You can get better from it or you shrink. We're going to see. He's been added to a card, but if he wants to make a move, he's got to do it now. Youth does not last forever. Also, here's one from Peter Court Hampton. With the Haney-Garcia fight looking unlikely now, should Haney go after a rematch with Lomachenko? I was never a fan of the original decision. Could a win help Haney earn back the respect of the fans?
Well, we just discussed Lomachenko's probably got a foot out the door to retirement. A lot of people thought, myself included, Lomachenko did enough to win.
Agreed.
That particular fight. And yeah, I think the desire and the excitement is gone for the Haney-Garcia rematch, man. I think they got to move on. Maybe if they were to get a couple of wins under their belt, then they can revisit it later on, if that's the case. But at the moment, I don't think that's in the plan.
If I was a betting man, I would put a few dollars that Loma is retired. I mean, look, I actually thought he looked pretty damn good against Kambosos. Went down under, dominated, stopped a guy that no one else had done to Kambosos. But I still get the sense, and I remember being there that night and seeing Loma, that infamous footage of ESPN following him into the locker room. It wasn't just a loss. It killed a part of his spirit and his soul, just the way he reacted. I was there that night. I know people might disagree. I didn't think it was all that close. I had it 116, 112 for Loma. So my question is, and again, we don't have to like Haney's style, but can Loma 2-3 years later fight any better than he did that night? Because there's one guy that is significantly younger. That is still Devin Haney.
That fight was also at lightweight. I don't see Haney making
you're right about that. Yeah. So and Loma's not a welterweight. He just simply isn't.
No.
Here's one from Kevin the Trucker One. Very creative guy. Does some great memes on Twitter. Mario, is Moses Itama like Clubber Lang, where we have all these heavyweight title fights happening, and all while Moses is knocking everyone out? Is he the next great heavyweight?
Hey, woman.
Hey, woman.
Hey, woman. You should have never came back. That's one of my favorite Rocky characters of all time in the franchise. Clubber, to be referred to as Clubber Lang, he's already winning.
Yes.
Right there. Well, we just talked about him. Again, I think he continues to do what he needs to do, and they bring him along slowly, and I think he's got a bright future. But, look, there's still some dangerous guys in the heavyweight division, and I wouldn't be wanting to face those guys at this particular moment. But I think in the future, he'll be right in the mix.
And I was just reminded of this. The WBO mandatory or their interim, and they've made this clear, is Joseph Parker, who certainly is a top 3 or 4 heavyweight. So you have Daniel Dubois getting the rematch against Usyk, right? And then Joseph Parker's going to say, I'm actually next in line. This time in between may benefit Itama. I'm with you. As high as I am, we still don't know if he can catch.
Exactly.
We really have to know a lot of the intangibles that you can only find in real fights. Here's one from Hamed, Stephen Mario. Who do you guys think David Benavidez should fight next? If Benavidez can't fight Callum Smith, or does he move up to cruiserweight? That's an interesting one because Golden Boy has actually said, Steve, one day we would not be opposed to Zurdo Ramirez against Benavidez. That does some significant business on the West Coast.
I saw him spar, actually, at Brickhouse Boxing Club.
Really?
They were having some, it was a friendly spar and going back and forth, so they're very familiar with each other, both big guys. Just saw Zurdo. You forget, he's so big, dude. Yeah. I can't believe he was ever super middleweight. Look, obviously, I'd love to see him fight the winner of Bivol. Beterbiev. That's ideal. I think we can say goodbye now to the Canelo. That's not happening.
You've turned the page.
I think we all need to turn the page. He's not going back up to 75. I don't think he'll come back down to 68. And Canelo's flat out said that's just not going to happen, so I'm going to take him for his word. Outside of the winner of Bivol Beterbiev, a cruiserweight might be a fun fight to capture yet another belt. That'd probably make the most sense. It'd be interesting to see what happens.
It'd do the best business in North America. As for Callum Smith, who's a really good fighter, I want to see that fight.
Oh, I'd love to see
that fight.
we
talk about fights of the year. Everyone's forgetting about Callum Smith against Boatse. That was a hell of a fight.
That was a great fight.
And you take away one night where he was just frozen and he had nothing left after making the weight against Canelo, Callum Smith would be by far the most accomplished guy that on the resume of Benavidez. I hope that fight is actually consummated because that's a really good action fight. Here's one from Clay Stevenson, longtime fan of the 3 Knockdown Rule. Hey, Mario, do you have any info on relating to the Oscar Duarte, Kenneth Sims Jr. card happening in Chicago in August? I made a few calls. August 2nd for Golden Boy, Chicago. They're going there, Windy City, and it's going to be at the UIC Pavilion. And I did a little quick jabs on this, but every time there's a major fight card in Chicago, you know what happens? People show up. And I've never understood why that particular market has been ignored. Here's the thing that's interesting. Kenneth Sims is from Chicago. This is a home game for him. But as Fernando Vargas told me one time, because after fighting in Chicago, and he drew a lot of people, hey, we're everywhere. There may actually be more fans for Duarte going out to the Midwest.
There's a lot of raza in Chicago. I was there for a couple months.
Yeah, so that will be a very interesting card. And the official date, from my understanding, it will be August 2nd.
Final flurries.
On to final flurries. Mario, you hit the road the last couple of weeks. What was it like?
Bro, 17 days straight without a day off. I should have landed and went straight to Betty Ford because I drank literally every night, not going out, but just socially, right? For these meetings. And you end up having it. I'm like, I'm too old for this. I can't believe it. First week was in New York. One nice day in weather. Most beautiful day I've ever been in New York. The rest rainy, just cold, but it was nice. It was productive. Then went to Orlando, polar opposite. 100 degrees.
Oh, that's great.
With 100% humidity. You were just like a swamp rat walking around right there. But I got to open the new Epic Universe, which is a new theme park. Bro, they spent $8 billion on that. So you can imagine Disney should be real concerned because it was next level with their Super Mario Land and the Harry Potter and the Isle of Berk and Monsters Universe. You know they own all the rights to Frankenstein, Werewolf, Dracula, and all that. So these are the craziest roller coaster I've ever been on in my life, and I've been on a big one. Craziest one called, it doesn't have an intense name, Suncoast Riders. That's the name of it. But it is bonkers, and it's over 2 minutes. It's just, when's the last time you were on a roller coaster, dude? It jacks you up. If you haven't been on it in a minute.
The last roller coaster I was on was either on the Matterhorn or Space Mountain. So it's been a while.
Dude, those are junior varsity roller coasters. This was next level. And then I had to go to Oklahoma, where I was there. You know, tornado warnings. My buddy's plane that was coming in got hit by lightning. He had to go to a military base, and he had the worst experience.
So you almost were. I'm glad you weren't Richie Valens. I mean, geez.
No. Oh my God, prayers up.
Yeah.
You know what I learned? Were Mickey Mantle.
Yeah.
Mickey Mantle's from Oklahoma
He's
City.
He's an Oklahoma
there.
guy, yeah.
Yeah, so's Johnny Bench.
Yes.
I ate at Mantle's Steakhouse. I was like, I didn't know Mickey Mantle was there. Yeah, we just associate him so much with New York and stuff. But real nice, great trip, great to be back. Thank goodness.
And so while you're seeing America, I saw part of American History on Netflix.
The show I recommended you.
America Primeval.
How good is it?
Double thumbs up.
Was it an enthusiast? You didn't see it, Frazier?
Not yet.
Oh, he's a rat
Here's
bastard.
the thing that I want to ask you.
I just finished Severance. It's next.
Yeah. Now,
It's
so
the
you're
best.
saying originally it's only supposed to be these 6 episodes and it's over, right?
However,
Is it going Shogun?
I recently heard, what's Shogun?
Well, Shogun
I know
is
the
supposed to
show-
be one series, but they're expanding it because it was so popular.
I think that's what's going to happen now. And I'm assuming, because everybody else, we won't blow it for anyone, they're going to follow the young lady out
they
of
have 3
California.
storylines.
Yes.
The lady that adopted the Indian and her son.
2 moons.
Okay. And then also, I want to know what happens to my favorite character, Bridger.
Yeah, that's another one.
And
yeah.
also, I want to see how do the Mormons expand upon their thing.
After doing some research, apparently I thought that was outside of made up. A lot of it is true.
Oh, yeah.
Apparently there was that Brigham Young and all that. It was violent. Because think about it. They're getting persecuted all over. And after they killed Joseph Smith out in Missouri, they also, dude, the more they had to kind of stick up. It was pretty interesting, wasn't it? Historically.
How vicious it is.
And how vicious it is. We are so grateful to be born during this time. Can you imagine? My wife's watching it going, we're so lucky.
And
we
thank
weren't
the
born during that time.
pioneers.
Oh, we live in the best time.
Yeah.
Best time ever. But it was good, wasn't it? I don't want to give it, but it's so good.
The
Every
pioneering
episode.
spirit of those men and what they had to go through. But I thought Bridger was hilarious. Every time he lit up his pipe and he's about to say something, he's going to say something good.
Everything was good.
And I love.
I had to put the subtitles because there's a mumble all the time.
Really? So I didn't do that. But I want to know, does Bridger make it even 50 yards out of the radius? Because he has all that cash.
Yeah, but he's also armed. So I'm sure.
Okay, but what if he gets robbed, though? Well, I mean,
you hear footsteps coming and, or
Bridger's
horses
a wise
and
guy. I
stuff.
thought Bridger,
He's
to
wise.
me, could be his own spin-off.
Yeah,
Because he's such a funny character. And also, great to see Tim Riggin, Taylor Kitsch. Every time I saw him, I just thought of Friday Night
He
Lights.
did a good job.
No, he did. Oh, man.
He did a good job.
I don't want to give it away, but
Don't give it away.
Oh,
It's good. The something is so.
Hold on, you immediately think of Friday Night Lights and not John Carter, the second biggest losing movie that Disney ever put out?
Yeah, I never watched that. But I was a big Friday Night Lights fan. Saw the fan, read the book, and the movie.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm a
okay.
triple threat
You
there.
are big.
And
what is it? Bright, clear eyes.
Clear eyes, full hearts. Can't lose.
Can't lose.
Can't lose. Yes, I am a fan. But the storylines, the way it ended in the 6th episode, I was like, time out. There's loose ends all over the place here. Like, you just can't
Good.
leave
I'm
it.
glad you liked it.
I thought it was really good, but I love the fact that Bridger just said, all right, you want to overpay me for this shack that I got?
Yeah.
He just says, all right, drinks on me.
Well, he didn't really have his choice.
No, he
because
didn't.
It wasn't like they overpaid him. They were nice, or else they were just going to come take it.
That was a very forceful, eminent domain.
Yeah, the negotiation was one way.
Yeah.
That was a one-way negotiation right there. But, it's hard to talk about. We don't want to give too much away, but check it out. It's awesome. One of my favorite shows I've seen in a long time. Next, I'm going to watch Mobland. With
Is that on Netflix?
Tom Hardy.
Okay.
No, Paramount Plus.
Paramount, okay.
Paramount Plus. I'll report back on that.
Mario, last night, generally we have a rule.
You got.
Well, after 7, 8 o'clock, we don't really call each other unless it's an emergency. So I get home doing what I do, and I see on my phone, oh, Mario called. And I'm thinking, oh, my God, he better not be canceling 3 Knockdown Rule. We got a lot to cover here. Okay, so I go, okay. So at first you didn't answer because they went to the answering or message, and it clicked. And I said, that's not that important. And then I'll let you take it away from here because I'm like, hey, what's up, Mario?
So it's this new trend that I was seeing it, and I said, hey, honey, record me calling the homies, telling them good night, which is so weird.
That's masculine.
Because grown men don't
masculine.
call each other and say good night. And I was dying because you were like the third, fourth person I call. I call my cousin, and first thing my cousin says, hey, dude, I just had a couple drinks. I was in the jacuzzi and had a gummy. Yeah. What's up? Yeah. And then he's like, hit him with the good night. There's always like a dramatic long pause. What? You good? Everything okay? Mexicans don't say good night, fool. Yeah. We don't say good night. They go, you're a weirdo. Yeah. It got funny.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Everybody was like, we're not doing this and that. Then I call you. You had the what? Do we have it? Can we play it?
We can put it in. It's yeah.
We're gonna have to put it in. But Kim gets all philosophical, starts talking about watching the Flintstones. And
he started doing a podcast.
Yeah. No. Did you get in a fight with your wife? That's and this and that? And I go, and everybody's commenting on my post like, who's your homie that's watching the Flintstones? And where did that come from? It's the funniest thing, dude. I was crying. I was laughing so hard. I called Frazier, but he already knew it, so boo.
So yeah, I had already watched a bunch of them. I was planning on us talking about it on the radio show, so he called me, and then I hesitated for a second. I just went, we're not doing this.
Yeah. So I just happened to be switching channels earlier that night on Cartoon Network between 7:30 and 8. They actually play Flintstones, and it was an episode.
I love the Flintstones. I just don't watch them at night.
Well, Fred and Wilma got into a fight, and they were sleeping at the other houses, like they had a big fight. So I'm thinking, okay, there's no reason why you're getting ready for bed. You're talking to me. And I remember one time we called each other, and I saw the log of our history. On Samsung, they tell you how many times you called somebody in the time.
Oh God, he's got an Android.
Yeah, your phone.
I'm Korean.
Hold on, sorry, your phone also screws up our text thread.
Exactly. I'd rather have a house phone than an Android.
Well, anyway, I want to stay united on the 38th parallel. So I looked at our log of calls one time. We literally did not have a conversation that ever lasted more than 2 minutes. One time we had a 5-minute one. I'm like, man, we were blabbing our asses off. This is basically, folks, how our conversations go. Kim, yeah, you coming over? Yeah, 6. You gonna have something to eat? Fried chicken. Okay. Then, Kim, yeah. Hey, bring some limeritas. Then that's about.
I haven't asked for limeritas in a while.
That's about
that's a good idea.
A minute. And basically, another time it's Kim. What's the charger score when you're working? And then the other one that I get. Kim, give me a call when the fights are on. Okay, bye, Kim. And so literally our calls are all about 45 seconds to maybe 90 seconds.
I should call more and just say, hey, man, what's
up?
So why then did you make it 45 minutes long, Kim?
Well, first of all, it was only 3.5 this one. But the fact that he's calling me this late saying, hey, Kim, I just want to wish you a good night. I'm like, bro, what is this? I said this.
No, I hit you with. I want you to say good night, man. Sweet dreams.
And I'm like,
I hit you with a sweet dream.
What is this?
Also, for the record, when he tried to get me and I rejected him immediately, I was like, you have to call Steve Kim. He's like, I already did.
We have to put it. You have to incorporate it in the thing. People got to see it. Put the whole thing. Put the whole thing.
No, I'm just in bed. I'm just in bed right here. I was just calling to say good night.
Well, that's mighty nice of you. Considering we're going to see each other in about, 14 hours?
Yeah, well, I was just chilling. Wanted to say sweet dreams and good night.
No, get the fuck out of here. What's going on here?
What do you mean, what's going on? I can't say good night?
Okay, just tell Masa. I don't know if you guys are sleeping in separate beds. I don't know how you fucked that up, but if you're reverting to saying good night to me, I actually saw an episode of Flintstones tonight where Wilma and Fred got into an argument. And they moved into the neighbor's house, so Barney and Fred were shacking up, and then it was Wilma and Betty. I'm thinking, what the fuck happened here? Is life mirroring the Flintstones?
This has nothing.
Came on tonight.
Has nothing to do with the wife and I. I was just, thinking about you, trying to call the homies, and I want to start saying good night. That's all. Sweet dreams and good night.
And one more thing I want to say about that. At 8 o'clock, Cartoon Network plays Bugs Bunny and Friends. Classics. And in the first one they always show features Bugs Bunny. Man, that guy stands a test of time. He is hilarious to this day.
Dude, you watching cartoons at night is concerning.
Let me just say on that note, I recently saw Space Jam, the original, for the first time
with
ever.
Jordan, with the greatest.
It's okay. It doesn't hold up as well. I don't think it holds up as well.
He likes the LeBron one.
No, I can say that.
No one likes the LeBron one. Your kids, I think, turned it off halfway through.
All I can say is, what's up, Doc? But anyway, that's it for this week's edition of the 3 Knockdown Rule. Again, if you want to sponsor our show, email us, info@boxbid.io. On behalf of Mario Lopez, Tim Frazier, this is Steve Kim saying, till the next round, goodbye, everybody.